Well, hello. Good afternoon po sa buong Pilipinas. So once again, ito na naman tayo. Maglalakbay sa mundo ng sining para sa ating subject this afternoon, Contemporary Philippine Arts from the Regions. So with that, I am your tutor for the day, Tutor Mary Grace, okay, bringing you all the knowledge and um, bringing you to a gallery walk of different art pieces dito sa ating subject na si PAR. Okay? So, before I proceed, I would like to say good afternoon also sa aming SDS, Dr. Elias D. Alicaya, SDO Quezon, sa aking school head, Dr. Carla Marie de Carandang of Quezon Science High School, okay, and sa lahat po ng mga teachers, parents, at higit sa lahat mga estudyanteng nanonood. At kasama ko ngayon dito sa ating online tutorial for Contemporary Philippine Arts from the Regions. And, syempre, hindi ko kakalimutan ang ating mga early birds sa chat box. Good afternoon, Ma'am Marilu Dog Taminaya, Ma'am Gian Alida Florentino, Ma'am Isusa Jose, Ma'am Maria Jean Ladisla Mandap, Ma'am Mary Jane Bedasua, and Ma'am Alma. Hi, Ma'am Alma. Good afternoon po, my former colleague at Luksuhin Integrated School. And syempre sa mga estudyante ng Quezon Science High School, nakasama ko din ngayon dito sa ating online tutorial for E2Live. Alright, so last week, week 6, we talked about the materials and techniques of contemporary arts. But we only talked about the materials. So I said na part 2 niyan ngayon, this week, ay yung mga techniques, okay, used by different contemporary artists. Alright? So we have the same melks, okay, and for that, for the reference, we use the module, okay, developed by the Division of Cagayan de Oro City. So thank you very much for this reference, mga moms and sirs, for this module. And then, these are our melts for this week. So it's the same as last week, so I will not linger on this any longer. And for our objectives, may napadagdag pong isa, which is number 4, apply artistic skills in the process of creation. However, maybe probably due to the limited time that we have, okay, I will be able to show you a process of creation, okay, applying the materials and techniques, using the materials and applying techniques in our next episode, all right? So last week, okay, we have these learnings, okay, the materials used by contemporary artists, and syempre, the classification of arts based on materials used. So natutunan natin na arts is not only classified by the technique or the different schools, no? Pero based din sa mga materials na ginagamit ng mga artists. So this time around, we'll be moving on to the techniques used by different artists in contemporary arts. But let's play a game first. So I would like to call this game Two Truths and a Lie. Yeah. I hope that many of you are familiar with this game, no? So I'll be showing you statements, and you're going to judge which of those statements, two of them, which two are truths or factual, and which one is a lie. Okay, so you're going to guess. So there will be 3 statements, kaya sa ating chat box, i-type nyo lang kung alin ang 2 truths, kahit letters lang, and then aling letter ang nagre-refer sa isang lie. Alright? Are you ready? So for each item, again, you're given 5 seconds to type in your answer in our chat box. Okay, so once again, good afternoon po kay Ma'am Lang D and Ma'am Betsky Gomez, Ma'am Vanessa Grace Mercene. Thank you very much for joining me this afternoon po. Okay, so let's proceed with our first item for 2 truths and a lie. All right, for this one, okay, we have this piece of art. Okay, it's a wood carving. Okay, here are the statements. Carving involves materials like wood, soap, and candles. Letter B, carving is an art technique. And letter C, malleability is not a factor in choosing a carver's material. So, alin kaya sa tatlong statement na yan ang truths at alin ang lie? Are you ready? 5 seconds? Go. You can type in your answers sa ating chat box. Okay, and time is up. Okay, so let's see. Alin dito sa mga statements na to ang 2 truths and a lie? Here are the answers. Okay, there you go. So letter A and letter B are our two truths. So totoo yung mga statement na yan. I mean, factual. And then letter C is a lie. Bakit? Yung malleability kasi, mahalaga yon sa pagpili ng material ng isang carver kasi kailangan niya i-consider yon. Kailangan niyang malaman kung yung isang material na pipiliin niya ay kaya nga ba niyang pag-applyan ng kanyang carving skills, di ba? So it's an important factor in choosing a carver's material. So sabi ni Michelle Armenta Rodrigueza, A and B, true, C is a lie. And ma'am, you are correct. Let's proceed to item number 2. And this is our featured artwork. Okay, so that is paper weaving. Here are our statements. Choose which are two truths and which is a lie. Letter A, technique allows the artist to manipulate materials. Letter B, technique alone defines the artist's piece of work. And letter C, technique allows the artist to communicate the desired concept or meaning. Okay, there you go. 5 seconds starts now. Okay, so you can type in your answer in our chat box. And here are the answers for this item. All right. So letters A and C are our two truths, while letter B is a lie. Okay? Letter B, technique alone defines the artist's piece of work. Syempre hindi. Kasi last week na sabi natin, yung materials, okay, it contributes dun sa total impact ng piece of work ng isang contemporary artist. Kahit hindi contemporary artist. So, technique alone cannot define the artist's piece of work. Okay, marami tayong dapat consider if we would like to define, if we would like to get the meaning of a certain piece of work. Hindi lang yung technique. So that is a lie. Okay? And letter A and C are the two truths. There you go. Now let's proceed to the third item. So si Ma'am Marilu Dove Taminaya, she said A, C, truth, B, lie, and ma'am, you are correct. Okay, letter C, number 3, our last item. Okay, and this is our featured artwork. Okay, it's very familiar to us, right? It's a tattoo. A tattoo of the sun with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 rays, no? So let's see the statements. Letter A, technique involves no tools. Letter B, technique ranges from traditional to the most contemporary. And letter C, every artist has his or her own technique and style. There you go. Are you ready? You can start typing right now. Okay, once again, good afternoon po, Ma'am Betsky Gomez, Ma'am Vanessa Grace Marcelo, and thank you for being in this online tutorial. Okay, what are the answers for this two truths and a lie item? Let's see. There it is. Letters C and B are our two truths, and letter C is a lie. Okay, so technique involves no tools. That is almost saying it's impossible, di ba? Kasi when you say technique, you are manipulating, you're not just manipulating the materials, but applying your skills. Okay, so there should be tools. Now, even the hands of the artist are considered tools. So kahit nga as simple as a tattoo, it still involves tools. Okay, so that's why technique involves no tools is a lie. Okay, Ma'am Michelle Armenta Rodrigueza, BC, true, lie, a lie. Of course, ma'am, you are correct. Okay, there you go. So, and that ends our game of two truths and a lie. I hope you got a perfect score of 3. If not, better luck next week. Okay, we'll think of another game next week about art. So this is Two Truths and a Lie Art Edition. Let's proceed now to our lesson. So we've been mentioning the word technique, okay, in our game and earlier in the title of our lesson. So what is technique? So it pertains to the use and the manipulation of materials na sinasagawa ng isang artist. Okay? Bakit niya ito ginagawa? Para ma-achieve niya yung desired formal effect ng kanyang piece of art. And, of course, more importantly, para masabi niya, ma-express niya kung ano ba yung desired concept or meaning or message na gusto niyang ibigay. Okay? Using his art form using his artwork. Eh, syempre, naka-engage din siya sa paggamit ng kanyang personal style. Mapa-modernism ba yun, neoclassicism, cubism, etc. So lahat yun nagko-contribute sa pagka-create ng artist ng kanyang technique. Okay? So the distinctive character or nature of the medium determines the technique. But it only contributes a huge factor in the piece of art. Syempre, iba pa rin yung concept na at meaning na dinideliver ng artist in the use of his or her technique. Okay? Another definition or explanation would be that technique involves tools and technology. So, hindi lang iisang tool ang pwedeng gamitin ng isang artist. Pwedeng marami. Okay? Ranging from the most traditional, for example, yung mga carving natin, silk screen, analog photography, yung black and white pa yan, yung, hindi na black and white, pero yun yung nilulubog pa sa chemical para makita yung mga pictures, di ba? And then filmmaking, okay, or ice carving like in the picture that we have, okay, from that, the traditional ones to the most contemporary, okay, like digital photography, digital filmmaking, music production, industrial design, art installations, even robotics, and even photo manipulation, like the one that we have in our example. Okay? So there you go. Yun pala yung definition ng technique. So it does not only mean na may stroke na tinutukoy sa isang painting. No. It involves tools and technology. It involves the artist's personal style. Okay? So, in the study of techniques, dapat natin i-consider kung ano-ano ba yung mga contemporary techniques na ginagamit to produce several art pieces these days. Okay? And in this particular lesson, we are going to focus on 12 lang muna. Napakadami kasi niya. So, but for this lesson, we're going to focus on 12. What are those 12? So, we have collage. Everybody say collage. Kung may collage, meron tayong decollage. Okay? Then we have graffiti. Say graffiti. Then we have land art, digital art or digital arts. We have mixed media. We have printmaking as a technique. We also have frottage. Everybody say frottage. Yan. Ito kaya yung mga apples, oranges, fruits pala yun. Frottage. Then we have decalcomania. Okay, so kung familiar kayo sa decals, ayan, so nandun kayo sa decalcomania technique. Then we have decoupage, okay, decoupage and eggshell mosaic. And finally, we have Trapunto painting technique. So these 12, yan, these are the most common techniques in contemporary arts na na-experience natin ngayon, kundi man nagagawa natin even in our class. Lalo na yung collage. Hindi lang sa art subject yan nagagamit. Okay? Sa iba't ibang subjects, di ba? Nare-request tayo ng mga teachers. Nare-request kayo ng mga teachers ninyo, halimbawa, na maggawa ng mga collage. Kapag nag-aral kayo, let's say, tungkol sa isang story. Magagawa kayo ng collage tungkol sa meaning ng story na yon. So, these are some of the popular techniques in contemporary arts. Okay? So, let's take a look at each one of them. So, first, we have collage. So it is a technique, okay, that is made from the assemblage of different forms, thus creating a new whole. So usually when you speak of collage, it includes clippings or cutting pictures from colorful magazines and newspapers with ribbons, paints, bits of colored or handmade papers, o kaya may mga kasamang artwork or text. Pero kapag pinagsama-sama mo yan, by gluing them together on a piece of paper or canvas, saka mo makikita yung collage. Dapat, when they come together, okay, there will be a new image. Okay? A new meaning will arise from these different cutouts. Okay? So, here is an example. Diba? So, these are different cutouts, but when they were pieced together, it's like an interior designer's presentation kung ano bang gusto niyang mangyari sa isang uri ng niloloob ng isang bahay kung may client siya, halimbawa, di ba? So this is an example of a collage. So remember, ang collage is you make use of pictures and then you glue them together. Hindi kailangan na sakto yung mga shapes. Okay? Actually, pwede ka nga magpatong-patong. You just glue them together to form a whole new, an entirely new image. That is a collage. Okay, now kanina, nabanggit natin na meron tayong tinatawag na decollage. Ito naman yung exact opposite ni collage. Okay? So it is created by cutting, treating away, or otherwise removing pieces of an original image. So decollage, from the French word, same word, which in English means to take off, to become unglued, or to become unstuck. Okay? So pinaka-popular dito yung cut-up technique. Okay? Halimbawa, meron kang poster na pinatungan mo ng poster na pinatungan mo ulit ng poster. Let's say, 5 posters na pinagpatong-patong mo. Then you're going to rip off some parts. Okay? Yung pinakang final output mo noon, after mo mag-beast mode, doon sa pinagpatong-patong mong poster, yun yung decollage. That is an example. Pwede rin naman, sabi dyan, treating away, meaning you can use chemicals na nagbe-melt away ng part ng isang poster, for example, okay, para magkaroon siya ng kakaibang effect dun sa iyong final decollage. Okay, so you can also use other cutting materials. Okay, siguro gamit ka ng katana, no, ala Kenshin Himura, para makat off yung ilang part to finally create your decollage. So it is the exact opposite of collage. Collage, you just glue them together to form an entirely new image. Pag decollage naman, patong-patong, tapos rip some part, tear off some part, then you produce your decollage. So kung galit ka pala, pwede mong gawin to, no? Magdikit-dikit ka na sa damakmak na poster. So nangyayari ito sa mga halimbawa, patong-patong na yung wallpaper mo sa bahay. Siyempre, nakakatamad magtanggal, no? Magpatong-patong ka ng wallpaper. Lagyan nyo ng hiwa-hiwa yun. Kung let's say, naka-20 ka, 20 pieces na wallpaper, lagyan nyo ng hiwa-hiwa yun. As iba-iba siya ng color. Magkakaroon ka na instantly ng decollage. Hindi mo na kailangan maglagay ng panibagong wallpaper. Okay? Magpunit-punit ka lang doon. Meron ka ng design sa iyong kwarto. O yan, DIY pala yan. So, that is decollage for you guys. Okay? So, let's proceed. Number 3 is graffiti. So, sa street art, isa ito sa mga popular din, no? When it comes to street art. So, these are scribed, scratched, or painted illicitly on a wall or other surfaces, usually sa mga public spaces. So, in some areas, graffiti is illegal. Sa iba naman, naglalagay na ang, let's say, ang local government ng space, ng wall, na dedicated lang sa mga graffiti artists. Okay? The graffiti artist may express underlying social and political messages. As always, parang pag walang mensahe yung graffiti mo, hindi yan graffiti, dumi lang yan sa pader. Ano? And a whole genre of artistic expressions. Okay? And they usually use spray paint. Okay, graffiti styles. For example, ayan. So, meron yung empty wall. If you're a graffiti artist, maglalagay ka lang dyan ng iba't ibang images, using different colors, different strokes, even different kinds of paints. So, ang pinaka-popular nga is spray paint. Kasi yun yung madaling gamitin, no? And readily available sa ating mga stores, spray paint. So, this is graffiti. Pwede namang hindi images, pwede rin namang mga words ang bubuo sa isang graffiti art. Okay? And then, number 4, we have land art. So land art, literally land, the earth itself. Okay, it is an art movement in which landscape and the work of art are inextricably linked. Okay, so mismong, usually even the natural formations that we have can be considered as land art. Pero pwede rin namang may human intervention. Okay, for example, itong mga to, no, rocks put above one another. Okay, na hindi natutumba. There's a sense of balance among these rocks, okay, or stones. Now, this can be considered, or this is an example of land art. Okay, you can use natural materials such as soil, rocks, and boulders, stones, organic media like logs, branches, leaves, and water, which introduce materials such as concrete, metal, asphalt, or mineral pigment. So, pwede rin may tubig. Okay? So, yan. This is an example of land art. So, lahat ng mga landscapes natin, sa garden, for example, kung mga plantita at plantito kayo, pag ina-arrange nyo yung inyong mga flowers, let's say sa isang bed of earth there, in your backyard, for example, that can be considered as land art. Okay? Next, our fifth technique is the digital art. So in here, you use digital technology. Like in the picture, doon sa left side, nandun yung original picture. And then on the left side, nandun yung original picture. And on the right side, vectorized na siya. Meron ng photo manipulation na ginamit. Usually, ang ginagamit is Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, ayan. So this is an example of digital technology. Pwede rin naman mga digital art installations, yung sandamakmak na TV, then nag-perform sila ng isang image, okay? So that is also an example of digital technology. So anything that uses may monitors, okay, may gamit ng may manipulation ng photos or videos, even sounds, that is considered as digital arts. Okay? And then number 6, let's move on, mixed media. So mix, syempre, you're using different kinds of media to produce this example of visual art. Okay, usually traditionally distinct visual art. Okay, for example, yung mga work on canvas that combines paint, ink, and collage. Later on, in our last technique to be discussed, malalaman natin isang example ng mixed media. Okay, na pinasikat ni Miss Pasita Abad. Okay, so in mixed media, many effects can be achieved by using mixed media. So found objects can be used in conjunction with the traditional artist to attain a wide range of self-expression. So let's say you're a really gifted artist and you can use different media, different materials. So you are in the mixed media technique. Okay, there you go. Let's proceed to number 7. So this is an example of mixed media art. Okay, so this is a Buddha in trash, something like that. Nawala kasi yung title eh. Na-stretch ko masyado yung picture. But you can see it's in Creative Commons. It's a nice example of mixed media. Moving on to number 7 is printmaking. So this is the process of making artworks by painting, normally in the paper. So the prints are created by transforming ink from a matrix or through a prepared screen, like a silk screen, to a sheet of paper or other material. For example, I'm not promoting artwork, pero dito sa particular store na to, meron silang iba't ibang wallets na may iba't ibang artwork. Well, actually, hindi lang sa shop ng artwork, even in other stores, no? So, natatransfer yung printed art, okay, sa isang canvas, tapos tinatahi siya into wallets or bags, pwede rin sa t-shirts. That is printmaking, okay? And number 8, we have Protage. Okay, Protage is the technique of rubbing. So that's the process na importante sa Protage. Rubbing. Rubbing with crayon on a piece of paper which has been placed over an object or an image. Ginagawa nyo to ng bata kayo, yung piso, papatungan ng papel, tapos kokoloran sa ibabaw yung papel. So nababakat si Jose Rizal doon sa papel. That is an example of Protage. Okay? So, this impression of the image can be created using leaves. Yan, isa sa mga project namin ng elementary at high school. Pwede ring woods, widescreen, or metal with embossed image or words. Okay? So, that is Protage. We have here an example. So, gumamit siya ng iba't ibang uri ng materials, nilagyan ng color sa ibabaw, and then na-produce yung isang artwork na yan, which is called the Protage technique. Alright? So, ginagawa nyo na yan. Ngayon, alam nyo na yung tawag. Oh, I can do Protage. Kuha ka ng piso, kakoloran mo. There you go. You have a Protage. Diba? Okay. The number 9, we have Decalcomania. Okay? So, hindi ito mania na sobrang mahal na mahal mo yung ano, no? Yung mga decals, no? Ito lang yung term talaga sa kanya. So, if you're familiar with decals, yan. So, ito yung process ng magta-transfer. Okay? Transferring a reversal of the image onto a canvas or other flat materials. For example, yan. May decals ka ng isang, ano ba to? A squirrel, okay, with different chestnuts ba yan? Okay, tapos ita-transfer mo siya doon sa laptop mo, okay? Para magkaroon ng design yung, let's say, usually plain design ng mga laptop. That is decalcomania. Okay, usually use the process of applying gouache to paper or glass. Okay, pwede ring stickers. So this is an example of decals. So, and this is decalcomania technique. Okay. Moving on to number 10. We have decoupage. Everybody say decoupage. So meron tayong collage, decollage, meron tayong protage. Now we have decoupage. So it is done by adhering cutouts of paper and then coating these with one or transparent coating of varnish. Okay, one or two transparent coating of varnish. For example, ayan. So, cut out ka ng papel, didikit mo siya sa kung saang surface mo pwedeng gustong maglagay ng decoupage, tapos lalagyan mo ng varnish, okay, para magdikit-dikit siya at hindi masira yung visual impact ng mga kinut out mong mga papel. So, this is an example, what you have here in the right side of the screen, no? A decoupage ng isang mannequin, okay? Pwede rin yan sa mga bottles if you want to put designs on your vases, di ba? Sa mga, ano pa ba? Sa mga walls niyo na made out of glass. Yan, pwede kang maglagay doon. Yan. So, but this is different from paper mache. So, decoupage siya dapat para siyang collage din. Kaya lang this time around gagamitan mo siya ng coating ng varnish. Bakit varnish? Para hindi mawala yung visual impact ng cutout papers mo. Okay? That is the technique of decoupage. So I hope that's clear to you. Let's move on to the second to the last technique for our lesson for today, which is eggshell mosaic. O, sinong guilty? Mga elementary students at high school students dumaan dyan sa eggshell mosaic, di ba? It is an artistic technique na gumagamit ng tiny parts of an eggshell to create a whole image or object. Okay, so kaya tinawag na mosaic kasi you're assembling, okay, you are Avengers Assemble, char. You're assembling, okay? There's an assemblage of an image that you need to form using the tiny parts of an eggshell. Syempre yung pinatuyo muna or nahugasan muna na eggshell, no? So here is an example. Si Brother Elmo from Sesame Street. Okay, so using eggshell mosaic. So, pwede rin lagyan ng colors, pwede rin namang white kung yun yung effect na gusto mong ma-achieve. But in our example, gumamit din ng color yung artist. So, representing Elmo. Okay, so this is eggshell mosaic. And then finally, we have Trapunto painting or Trapunto painting. Depende na lang kung English or American ang accent, no? But both pronunciations are correct. So what is this? Okay, it is a technique used by Pasita Abad where her canvases are padded, sewn, and often filled with sequins, beads, shells, buttons, tiny mirrors, beads of glass, wick racks, swatches of precious textiles, and other things. So sari-sari, kumbaga, to cut it short. Sari-sari na nilagay sa isang canvas na yari sa tela na tinahi. Okay, sewn together. Taka nilagyan ng design. Pwede rin lagyan ng painting. Diba? So this is Trapunto painting. Here's an example. Okay? So yung artwork na yan ni Pasita Abad, gumamit siya ng Trapunto painting or Trapunto painting. So mapapansin nyo na meron diyang mga beads, okay? May mga crocheted materials, okay? Then may iba't ibang sequins, may glasses, okay, na inilagay din siya dyan, and buttons. So halo-halo yung kanyang material. So ang tawag pala dyan is Trapunto painting. Okay? There you go. So we have a total of 12 techniques that we discussed, okay, being used by contemporary artists these days. Not only in the Philippines, but even around the world. Okay? So that ends the discussion of the 12 techniques. But let us consider now, okay, this concept, art as artifact. Okay, forgive the typographical error. Art is considered an artifact when it is directly experienced and perceived. Okay, so pag na-experience mo at na-perceive mo ang isang art, then that piece of art is now already considered an artifact. So it can be spatial and static. Okay, yung di nagalaw, nandun lang, like yung mga art installations natin, yung mga visual arts natin, like painting, pwede ring novel, pwede ring building. Or it can be time-based and in motion, like yung mga performance arts natin, like flash mobs, live theater, mobile sculptures, diba? So those can be considered artifacts when you have already experienced them and perceived them. And especially when you have already understood and observed what they express, what they mean. Okay, so hindi lang yung mismong art ang iyong na-experience at na-perceive. Even the artist's okay, psyche or psychology. Okay? Yung kasi yung gusto niyang mensahe na iparating sa inyo, galing sa kanya yun eh. So hindi mo lang na-perceive yung art niya, but even you're able to somehow understand, okay, what the artist is saying, and at the same time understand the artist himself or herself. Okay, so this is art as an artifact. All right, so there you go. So for this lesson, let us summarize the takeaways that we have learned. Okay, so number one, we learned that technique is the way artists use and manipulate different materials to achieve the desired formal effect and communicate the desired concept or meaning. Kasama na rin yung kanyang paggamit ng personal style. Okay? So, ayan, si sabi ni Paula May Saralde, ako po. Ayan, siya daw ay isang artist. Okay? So, one of the students of Quezon Science High School, yes, okay, you can be an artist in your in the right timing even now, di ba? Okay, takeaway number 2. There are many techniques used in contemporary arts, and some of them include collage, decollage, graffiti, etc. up to Trapunto Painting. So ito yung diniscuss natin a while ago. Okay? The 12 techniques na common ngayon sa mga contemporary artists. Okay? And then finally, we also learned that once we experience art, once we perceive art, it is considered an artifact. Okay, so here's another example of Trapunto painting. So as you can see, it's a textile na tinahian ng mga beads, buttons, and pieces of glass. Yeah, so once we perceive what it means, once we perceive the art itself, then that art is considered already as an artifact. So usually we talk about artifact in the field of history, okay? Pero this time around, even in art, there is such thing as an artifact. Kasi syempre, nandun na rin yung historical account ng pagkakagawa ng art piece na yun. Okay? So those are our takeaways for this lesson. So I hope that you'll be able to really learn, okay, these techniques, okay, and practice each one of them, especially yung mga aiming to become artists in our times. You can practice each technique and be able to identify saan ka talaga saan mo talaga gustong magpakadalubhasa, okay, as an artist. All right, so there you go. Let's proceed to our quiz time. And it's quiz time. So be ready to type in your answers in our chat box. Are you ready? So this is very easy, multiple choices. So you're just going to choose the letter of the correct answer. Okay, so you have 5 seconds to type in your answers in our chat box. Are you ready? Let's have question number 1. What art technique makes use of eggshells? What art technique makes use of eggshells? Is it A, Trapunto, B, Eggshell Mosaic, or C, Collage? 5 seconds. Go. Okay, so I hope you have some answers in our chat box. So Paula May says it's letter B, and you are correct. Okay, this is Eggshell Mosaic. So that one is quite easy. I hope everyone who's watching got it correctly too. Second question. Which art technique combines various traditionally distinct visual arts? A, mixed media, B, land art, or letter C, digital art? 5 seconds. Type in your answers. Okay, Ma'am Michelle, you're also correct for number 1. For number 2, the correct answer is letter A, mixed media. So it combines lahat ng mga visual arts na napag-aralan natin previously, no? We call it mixed media. The technique is called mixed media. Okay, the answer is letter A, and again, Paula, you are correct. Okay, so you have 2 points already. Very good. Number 3. This is our question. Blank painting makes use of padded canvases that are filled with sequins, beads, etc. Choices are A. Graffiti, B. Trapunto, or C. Decoupage. 5 seconds. Type in your answer now. And the answer, oh yes, Ma'am Michelle, you are correct for number 2. That is letter A. The answer for number 3 this time is letter B. We call it Trapunto or Trapunto Painting. Okay, so hindi na karaniwang canvas ang ginagamit kung hindi textile na tinahi-tahi, nilalagyan pa ng foam, tapos lalagyan ng iba't ibang design. We call it Trapunto Painting. Okay, and again, Paula May got it correctly. Letter B is correct. Let's proceed to number 4. What process produces a frottage using a crayon on a paper placed over an object or an image? Again, what process produces a frottage using a crayon on a paper placed over an object or an image? We're looking for the process. Letter A, rubbing. B, sketching. C, printing. 5 seconds. Type in your answer right now. Okay, so good afternoon once again to Ma'am Michelle Armenta Rodriguez and Ma'am Marilu Dove Ma'am Marilu Dove. Let me get that. Yeah, Taminaya and Sir Ariel Mendoza, thank you for being with us today. Okay, so the answer for number 4. Okay, the answer for number 4 is letter A, rubbing. So that is the process used in the technique called frottage. Okay, you rub the crayon over the paper that is placed over an object or an image. Ginagawa natin sa piso nung bata pa tayo, ano? And okay, we have Ryle Ian Ongay who answered letter C. Sir, that is correct. Okay, Ma'am Michelle, you answer a letter A. Letter 4C for Sir Ryle Ian. That is wrong. The answer is letter A. Should be rubbing. Ma'am Michelle got it correctly. Okay, and again, Paula got it correctly. So Paula and Ma'am Michelle, you're 4 points each. Very good. Okay, thank you for staying up to this point in our online tutorial. And the last question for our quiz time. Which technique is the opposite of collage? Choices: decoupage, digital art, or decollage. 5 seconds. Type in your answers now. Okay? Alin kaya yung opposite ng collage? Uncollage? Let's see. The answer is letter C. The opposite of collage is decollage. Okay? And again, Paula May got it correctly, and Mom Michelle got it correctly too. The answer for number 5 is letter C, decollage. So you got a perfect score, Mom Michelle and Paula. You got a perfect score of 5 in our quiz time, which means that you're able to learn, okay, that the techniques that we discussed earlier in our online tutorial lesson. Okay, and of course, this may be the end of our lesson officially, but I would like to leave you with a quote, as usual, this time coming from Steve Jobs. So he said, the greatest artists like Dylan, Picasso, and Newton risked failure. And if we want to be great, we've got to risk it too. So even though there are hundreds of techniques that you can use and you fail at one, you can still get up and try again. You have to risk failure if you want to be great, not just in the field of arts, but in the field of life and living. Okay, so let's listen to what Steve Jobs said about taking risks. It's even in the field of arts, that is very important. Okay, so my online tutorial class, that ends our lesson for today. Once again, thank you for being with me in our online tutorial for CPAR, Contemporary Philippine Arts from the Regions. I'd like you to watch out tomorrow for our Wednesday morning habit. Thank you very much, guys. See you again next week.